Okay, so I'm kind of pissed. I tried recording this earlier, but it did not work out because my phone was set to the wrong settings, and I'm using a really old video player. I don't really have the cash to go just buy a new one, but my phone was automatically set to UHD, and my editor cannot do UHD. It can only do FHD. So, well, for some reason, specifically UHD at 60 frames per second. It can do 30, but for some reason my phone was set to UHD 60, which I tried to do FHD 60. So I just spent like an hour and a half trying to get something that can compress it down. The one thing that I found that could do it didn't do it very well, and then my video editor wouldn't take it because I don't have QuickTime on my computer, which is some sort of Apple product. I tried doing that, still didn't work. I just scrapped it and gave up on it. So I just wanted to come out here and give you guys just a quick overview of what I did. I just got my second grape. It's a red flame, and it's about twice as long as this. The second half has two nodes on it, two roots, or two nodes on it that have roots on them. So I got them both buried down underneath. I soaked it in a bucket for pretty much the length of my recording the video. So I had it soaking the roots in a bucket, and while I dug out my hole and kind of got everything ready, it was just in there soaking. I built up a mound. So if this makes any sense, I built up a mound of soil to let the roots kind of splay down, and then started burying everything on top of it. I used a little bit of a mycose inoculant that I have. It's old. It's got a little bit of fertilizer in it. I don't really know if it does anything, but I thought I might as well just throw it in there because it doesn't actually have a very big root system. It has just big enough. So I'm hoping it'll make this guy go really well. And I used a little bit of my mealworm frass fertilizer in there too. I layered it in. So I put the mycose in with the roots. I put some soil on top, mixed in a bit of the frass, scratched it in, poured some water onto it, and then I put another layer on all the way until it got to the top. Covered the cardboard on top and then the wood chips. I ripped out a lot of grass and moss that was in there and kind of added in a little bit of extra soil to replace it from another source, because I didn't want it fighting with that stuff to grow, because it's still green underneath this since it's still so fresh. But I also didn't want any breakdown composting to burn the roots or anything as well. So this guy's a lot smaller than my other one here. This other guy here is the Summer Royal. So they're both seedless bunch grapes. That one's Red Flame. This is Summer Royal. So this is going to be a very dark purple, almost a black, while the other one's going to be red, more of a two standard colors of grapes that most people eat. I would like to get a white grape or a green grape at some point in the future, but not here. I definitely don't have the room for it. So I'm thinking about how I want to prune this guy down. I'm still not sure yet, but I want to try to do the same thing where I've got kind of just one stem and then it forks off into two. And then these guys are European varieties, so they have to be spur pruned, or at least that's what I'm told, and that's what I've tried looking up online. But these two specific varieties I've read on, they have to be spur pruned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it fork and then grow up each side of this trellis, or this archway, and then just spur prune along the two stems or something like that. I'm still not quite sure how it's going to work. That's pretty much it for what I did out here. I've got more cardboard for putting wood chips out, but this area section here that I have is pretty much, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to start layering more wood chips on as it breaks down, but I don't want to add any more into this section. But things are starting to warm up. It's getting a little cold because it's the end of the day, but it was pretty warm today. And some of my plants are, like I've said before, they're already growing. In terms of lighting, this is a bit of a shaded spot, but I was able to you can kind of trim out some of the branches here so that at least once we get a little bit more into the spring and the sun is coming in a little bit straighter up in the air, because it's still at a little bit of an angle, we'll get a lot more direct sunlight on this guy here. You can actually see my neighbor's tree here. This one I'm not quite sure if I want to cut out yet, but it's already starting to open up. You can see here, if it'll focus, it's already starting to open up and grow. I've got my black raspberries that I planted here still doing, at least these are the new ones that I put in. My other two that I've had since fall are still nothing growing on them yet. I'm still not sure if they are even alive. But that's what I've got going here. Like I said, I had a much more in-depth video where I kind of showed you guys me digging it out and putting it all in, but I always double check what your video format is when you are recording a video, because you never know when something's going to get screwed up. But I hope you guys enjoy my little bland explanation. I'll try to make sure that I get better footage, proper footage, when I do anything else. Probably next week is when I'm going to be doing my next batch of seeds. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with that. My 2 lavender seedlings have already sprouted, which is nice, but you know, I'll show you guys a little bit more next week, I guess.